back to Education Over Everything. I'm Dr. Yusuf Sabri. And before we get started, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, engage. I look forward to the feedback. So, story came out today about a student in a Detroit high school chasing another student with a knife. Now, before I even get to discussing it, just take a look at the video.
Is that a pocket knife? She had a pocket knife. She had a pocket knife. She had a knife.
Now that you watched the video, what do you think? I have a lot of questions. First, to me, it wasn't alarming. Like, it wasn't jaw-dropping. Maybe because I'm conditioned that way. I'm from Detroit, so you hear stories like this almost every year. I've been part of situations like this, being in education 20 plus years. Even more serious situations than the one we just saw. And as a younger professional in education, before I had kids, I think nothing of it. I'll say, oh, well, that kid is crazy or something wrong with him. And it'll take somebody who's older to just kind of slow me down. Like, look, man, you never know what people are going through. And when I became a parent, I understand what they were trying to tell me at that time. I listened, but now it resonates a little bit more now that I've been a parent. And I saw the aggressiveness in this young lady chasing this young lady with this knife. It just bothered me because I know something isn't right. We can look at her and tell something isn't right. Because she has gotten to the point where she felt like it was okay to bring a knife to school, and not only bring it to school, but pull it out and chase another young lady around the classroom. That's alarming to me. It screams trauma. It screams mental health. So I asked the question, what's going on at home? What was her youth like? Why did she feel the need to bring a knife to school? How did she get the knife? Who gave her the knife? Did she take it on her own? These are the questions that I have, and I would like to know, the answers to, just because I'm almost positive this behavior, if not replicated, if she's not replicating what she saw growing up, her upbringing brought her to this point. And unless she's been getting bullied and nobody knew about it, that's a different story. So, like I said, I have a lot of questions. So, okay, none of those questions are getting answered We may follow up and see what happens, but you know, the young lady, of course, got arrested, and that's, I mean, rightfully so. She's supposed to get arrested for her behavior, but she's not going to get the treatment or the therapy that she deserves while locked up. So when she returns back into society, will she be a better person? We never know. So, you know, one could talk about, you know, it hits home because I know the administrators there, they're good administrators. I know the community, you know, people take pride in coming from that high school in that area. A lot of educated people came from the area around that high school. And a lot of success stories. So it's easy for one to say, oh, they should have did something about, you know, checking bags. How'd she get into school? Well, since I've known about high school, you always hear a story about somebody getting a weapon in the school. Now, that's not, I mean, unfortunately, it's been an increase in weapons getting into the school, and not in this is our urban community school, but you go out where there isn't any metal detectors and they bring in ARs and all types of things. So, and that's a whole nother topic. But what can we do about the weapons in school? Metal detectors, get better security guards. What is a security guard? It's a lot of questions in regards to that weapon getting into the school. Maybe it wasn't really a knife and it was a sharp piece of metal. I don't know. And it was already in the school. She just picked it up and used it. Who knows? I don't know. We don't know based off this video. We got to do a follow-up. Also in that video, you saw that the teacher held up a chair to defend herself from the student who's carrying a weapon. And nobody goes to school, gets educated to give, basically you're giving back because you're not really getting paid that much. You're giving back to the community, you're educating your community because you believe in your community. That teacher looked like those students, so she was committing herself to the education of those students only to potentially get attacked if she tried to break up the fight or separate the two girls. And no one wants to put themselves in that situation. So we talk about the teachers should do more training and they need to go to professional developments to learn how to de-escalate these situations. You're not learning how to de-escalate somebody bringing a knife to school and trying to stab another student. There's no professional development for that. There's no professional development for that. They might tell you to, you know, lock the doors and do something crazy. You know, it happens so fast. It happens so fast, and while you're trying to teach the class, this is going on. You don't know what's brewing. Some teachers have a better ear to the hallways than others. But if you're there dedicating your time to teaching and educating, you might not have caught wind of something brewing and it's going to overflow in your classroom. There's no professional development for that. Only thing you could do is be aware as much as you possibly could be. Because if you're policing behavior all day, policing, you're a correction officer at that point. You're not a teacher. You just managing behaviors, making sure people stay in line. And that's not what educators go to school for. So you have that. One that's not in the mix might say, oh, it may need to be more professional development. Yeah, all right. Let me hear what your thoughts on that. That would be my response. And then you might have someone say, oh, it needs to be more student conflict resolution. Really? Really? Do you know what some of these kids have to go through just to get to school? Do you know what some of these kids have to go through just to get to school in the morning? So when someone tells you, oh, you need to implement some student conflict resolution, it's so many different scenarios that presents itself on a daily basis in a school, in a high school, that you can't implement certain student conflict escalation resolutions to all these situations, because all of it doesn't apply. And the people who write the manual are not in the trenches. So, what do? We throwing noodles at the wall to see if they stick. Trial and error. But the main thing is getting educators in the schools that look like them, because they know how to read those students. They know how to communicate to those students. They know what to look out for. They know the red flags. They know the green flags. Some of those students are reflections of themselves. But that's a whole nother story. That's one way. That's one way of creating a culture, a nonviolent culture, and preventing violence in education, urban education. It's important to have administration, security, janitorial services, paraprofessionals, teachers, and I'm talking about trade teachers that look like the students. It's important. It's important. It's important. Now, one thing that we all could probably agree on is it definitely was some mental, you could say mental health issues, but some mental trauma in this young lady. You could see it. And as a parent, you know, and as an adult, you know that this didn't happen overnight. So I'm glad that the young girl in the classroom did not get attacked. I'm glad the teacher did not get attacked. I'm glad the students did not get attacked. I'm glad that, no injuries occurred. And I feel for the students who are in there trying to learn. You know, is in the moment they might be all laughing, oh, you can't believe, I can't believe this, they can't believe that. But as someone who's seen that, someone who's laughed at classroom disruptions, as someone who was in a classroom teaching with classroom disruptions, as someone who was an administrator, a dean over students who made classroom disruptions, it's unfortunate that certain students' education, students who really want to be something, their classroom time is disrupted by, you know, just unruly behavior. How can we fix this? I would say mentorship, continuous mentorship, men and women, and also parental support. I think that's the most important. We have to start making the parents work a little bit more and put in a little bit more, invest a little bit more into their children's education. We have to force them to do so. And parents, you have to force yourself to do a little bit more, invest a little bit more, participate a little bit more in your child's education. And surround your child with positive energy. You can't put your children in negative environments and expect them to turn out positive. You can't put your child in negative environments and expect them to turn out positive. It doesn't work like that. It's already enough distractions. Then they come home to distractions. And what they see, they're going to mimic. They're going to think it's okay. And it's not. Because now we're raising another generation of fools. So all my educators out there in urban education, you know, stand strong. I feel you. I feel for you. Do the best you can, do right by the students, and we're praying for you every day. To my parents, sometimes you got to sacrifice for the betterment of your child. You have to want more for your child than you want for yourself. And the best way to start is through education. Get involved, participate, be present, support. Do as much as you can do to put your child in a better position. And to all my nephews and nieces, opportunity is in front of you. Some will take advantage of it, some won't. But understand, the longer you take to get to take advantage of your opportunities, most likely those opportunities will be missed. We're in a position to where we can excel. You're in a position, nephew, you're in a position, niece, to where you could become what you want. But we have to communicate what we want. We have to seek out as much help as we can. Your teachers are there to help you. Your administrators are there to help you. Get on their nerves to the point where they see you coming, they know you about business. Detroit is not the only place. And we don't have to leave just Detroit just because we trying to hustle somewhere else. We can go get a job somewhere else, work and live somewhere else.
Hi, I'm Amir, and this is my book, at the Zoo. And it's about a girl who goes to the zoo, and she thinks it's unfair that all the animals are locked in cages, and you can find it on Amazon. Wow! It's a very good book.
Safely, comfortably, for the rest of your life. You just gotta want it. And my community, we have to wrap our arms around the youth. We have to be present. We have to be stern. And we have to be an example for those coming up behind us. Show them love, give them wisdom, and don't mislead them. Peace.